So that's me, Komal, and my daughter Swara. To start with, I'll share my own journey. I came to know about Sharan about 3.5 years back. Before that, I had thyroid. My count, TSH count, used to be about 25 points, which was really high. And the symptoms that I had were really bad. Every morning, I had to drag myself out of the bed, and then I had severe constipation and gaseousness. My skin was dry, my eyes was dry, and even my hair, I had severe hair fall. So, and I was completely convinced by my doctors that this is how I'll be leading my whole life, with one pill of thyroid every single day. But in the IMSA fest, after I met Dr. Nandita, I went home and Googled her up. Sharan also I Googled, and I saw a few videos, and I also saw a few PETA videos along with it. And it really hit me bad. It hit me so bad just for my taste buds. I'm having so much of dairy. I was a vegetarian. And that night I went plant-based in just one night. Um, then gradually I did one whole day workshop with Dr. Nandita. I joined Sharan. I did the facilitator training there, and it really helped me. Gradually, like 6 months down the line, I saw all the symptoms were gone. I used to get up every morning really with a lot of energy, and I was doing a lot of more work in my day. And constipation and gaseousness had gone within a week. My skin was shining, and my eyes were better. My hair fall had gone down. Everything was doing well, and I was in a great space then. And also my thyroid count had come to the borderline, like it was about 6 point something, which had never reached. Gradually my medicines also reduced, and right now I'm here in front of you 14 kgs lighter, and I'm really happy where I'm right now. Now I'd like to share with you something about my daughter. She's 8.5 years old. She's very healthy, happy. She loves playing basketball, cycling, skating. She's very good academically. She loves singing, and she even loves meditating thrice every single day. And one thing I'm really proud of is she has never had antibiotics till now, till in this 8.5 years of her life. Touch wood. So that was more about us. This was so that you can relate more to me and my daughter, because I'll be sharing my experience with you. And also one more thing, whatever I'll be sharing will be generic. Maybe your child is younger or older, so every point may not relate to you, but eventually it will be of help to you. Okay, so let's move ahead. What is holistic health? Holistic health is not just physical health, it is emotional and social health also. Just physical, so mental, just absence of disease is not health. As per WHO also, complete physical, mental, and social well-being is required. So now I want to ask you this question. How do you wish to see your kids 10 to 15 years down the line? Happy, that's amazing. Happy and healthy, lovely. That's amazing. I'm getting all the answers. And you people are really, really doing good, that you're working towards making your children happy, compassionate, yes, disease free. Superb. So, in general, these are the answers we generally have. You want them to be passionate, learner, fulfilled, successful, energetic, yes, peaceful, confident, and happy and healthy. That is the first thing we want for them, right? So let's see what can we do to help them achieve all these things. Yeah. So for this, I want to present to you a parenting pyramid. This is a beautiful pyramid. There's a lot of scientific thinking gone into it. A lot of research has gone into this. This is made by a parenting coach called Prashant Guzre. He's a very good friend. You can check up on his work in the website given below, inspiredparenting.in. So here we start with the pyramid in such a way that we know where we really need to give more importance. So the first level is bonding and trust. bonding and trust between both you and your child, the health and hygiene. Once that bonding and health is taken care of, you can go to values and culture, learning and autonomy, and excelling. But just think about it. Aren't we giving more importance to the above two levels right now? And we are not really thinking of the below levels? Yes. So let's understand each level in detail. Before that, I'd like to imagine this pyramid as an iceberg. And here's the sea level. If you know about the iceberg that we see above the sea level is just the tip. What is there below is maybe 90% of that iceberg. So bonding and trust plays a big role, and there's one more level below that, which we really need to work on, and without that, we cannot move ahead to any other levels. And that is our own peace of mind as parents. It is really, really, really important. Now let's get into each levels one by one and discuss in detail what we can do for our children for that. Yes. So let's go to the parents' peace of mind. So what do we need to do for our peace of mind? We need our inner silence in place. We need to be sorted, right? And there are a lot of modalities available here right now. Meditation, conscious breathing, chanting, being with nature, being in gratitude and appreciation. We had a topic on that, right? Affirmations by Madhura, pursuing a hobby, following your passion. Jayashree also talked about inner child. And there are many, many other modalities. You just go with whatever works with you, whatever makes you feel sorted, whatever gives you that silence within. Just go with it and work on yourself every single day to make yourself a better version of your own self, just like how you have come here today, right? And this is the best gift that we can give to our child is our own self growth. Why? Because our children are constantly observing us. They are super imitators. At whatever age they are observing us. There's one mother told me, my child is a teenager and she really hates me. So how would she imitate me? So I would like to tell, even if your child is hating you, your child is critically observing you. And when you're working on yourself to be the best of your, best of what you can be, the child will definitely take that from you. Yes. So be a role model and work on yourself first. I cannot stress enough of this. This is 90% of the iceberg. Just understand that. So now we talked about peace of mind, our peace of mind. Let's go to the next level, which is bonding and trust. Here, bonding and trust is really, really important between us and our children. You may think, what can we do for bonding and trust is maybe give more time to our children or, have more understanding with them. But let's really understand what we need to do is we need to let the child be. And it really sounds difficult, when someone tells us that you have to let your child be the way he is or she is. But let's understand how we can do it. We need to understand our child, understand to the extent that they are confident enough that we understand them very well. We really need to step in their shoes and see how they are feeling, what they really want. That's when you'll be able to understand your child fully, and that's when you'll be able to listen to them without any judgment and without any labeling. No judgment and labeling, even in your mind. Even if it is within us in our mind and we are not expressing it, that goes into them by energy. Okay. And this leads to unconditional love between you and your child. Okay. And for this, again, we need an understanding within us that our child is on his or her own journey. We do not own them. They have just come through us. They have come to fulfill their own purpose. We are just facilitators. We are just there to help them fulfill their own purpose and dreams. Yeah. So here are some actionables that I follow. I'd like to share. You can also use them and you can also creatively find your own actionables. So this is one thing that I really follow is I do not set any expectations from her. she sets her own expectations sometimes, which I feel are really higher than I would have set for her. And I, I really want her to share her feelings, dreams, and secrets with me when she grows up, especially in the teenage, right? So that is why what I started is I started sharing my fears, guilt feelings, any other feelings, dreams, my secrets with her. And gradually she also started doing that. And here I'd like to share one very funny thing happened. And I'm really happy about it. Earlier, I used to work from home. I was a graphic designer. And then when I started taking cooking classes with Sharon, I started going out a bit, for maybe half a day or so. And she used to tell me, Mama, don't go. Why are you joining this, Sharon? So I just explained to her, see, Swara, I want people around to be really healthy. I want them to learn to cook healthily, and then we'll have a great healthy world around us. So she heard that, and the next month we were going to Delhi. So, and we were planning that out, and she's telling me, Mama, since we are going to Delhi, let's book an appointment with Narendra Modi. I was like, why? What happened? And she's like, when we meet him, you can share all that you are doing with Sharon. And then he'll tell the whole of India to cook, to to go the Sharan way, to go be healthy the way you're teaching them to be, and then everyone, the whole of India will be healthy. So here what I really like, that she connected to my dream and she took it to a totally different level. It was like totally out of the box. So that's how, just start sharing your feelings and dreams and secrets with them. If your children are old, for a few days, they'll be like, what are you doing? What's wrong with mama? What's wrong with papa? But eventually, gradually, they'll also open up. Also, the sleep time is a wonderful ceremony time that we have. That is the time when the children's alpha mind is active and the logical mind is really relaxed. So, I generally discuss the friction that had happened in the day, friction time, the issues that have come up in a very soft manner, and we are able to solve it out in that time. Also, I share the highlights of my day, my best moment and worst moment of the day. And this I'm doing since she was 1.5 years old. And we are still continuing, and we look forward to, sharing our best time of the day. And that's how we are sharing our day with each other. And I'm sure this will go a very long way in continuing this bond and trust. So you may find your own creative ways to do this. So this was about bonding and trust. Here again, I'd like to tell you, we are going to the above levels, but the below levels should not be compromised. We cannot work on the levels above at the cost of the levels below. This is really, really important. Now we go to the next, which is health and hygiene. Here we'll be going in more detail. Okay. So let's see, what do we really need to do to inculcate health and hygiene in our kids? We need to give them reminders and not be teaching them, no teaching, no preaching, no lectures, no moralizing. Only compassionate reminders. That will only help them to get to their discipline and routine without any friction. Okay. So now how do we do that? By giving them right information. Here again, I'd like to share when Swara was young, she was about 3.5, 3 or 4 years old. She used to love to open the fridge and keep it open, and she would never want to close it. So then I just told her, Swara, if you don't keep the fridge closed, the ice cream that is being made for you won't come out well. And all the things that are there in the fridge will go bad. So this information she never had, and that is why she was behaving in this manner, right? So once she got this information, she never forgets to close it. So instead of making a big drama out of this, giving information is a very good way. And notes, you can be creative in giving information or reminding them by giving notes. It has always worked, not always, many a times worked with me. For example, when she was young and she was not keeping her toys away, So I took a note, I wrote there, toys away, and made a rocket out of it and put it on her. And she opened it up, she could not read it, and there were smileys around. So she got it to me, what is written, Mama? And I told her, toys away. And she was so excited and she put all the toys away. So, just be more creative and, give the reminders in such a way that there's no drama and friction created. It really, really helps even in, because if we are doing things in such a way, we are not, breaking the bond between us. Now, this is also very important. Bring only healthy food at home. I have gone to the extent of, there always when we have guests at home, they get something, some gift for us. Okay, generally it is Kaju Katli or chocolates for Swara or cake or something. So I have gone to the extent of telling them, please take it back. Thank you so much. We don't eat this stuff. And now when I have guests, most of them who know me, they get almonds and dates for me. It really works. And, for once they will feel bad maybe, but they will understand that what we are following is really important for us. And this is really important. Nowadays, kids are glued to the mobile, PlayStation, and they really don't want to go out and play. So you have to at least initiate at the initial stage when they are not going out. You have to step out with them, play with them, run with them, whatever they like, do yourself with them. And once they get into the habit, they'll never want to not go outside. So now let's go into the health part in more detail. So whoever has a car, it is really a prized possession, right? You spend so much on your car. So would you put petrol in your diesel car or diesel in your petrol car? No, right? Because then it will not work properly and you have really put in a lot of money. So just think about it. What are our kids eating nowadays? They are eating sugar, milk, fried food, processed food, refined food, packaged food, acidic food, foodless food, non-digestible food. Is all really food for us, food for our children? No. Someone asked me, what is foodless food, Komal? If you think of Coke, Thumbs Up or Pepsi, what is the amount of food in it? You can actually clean your toilet with this, right? So what do we really need to do? We need to eat our food as per our blueprint, as per what God has made up, as per the way God has given this body to us, right? So now we'll go into what all we are eating not as per our blueprint and understand what is wrong with that. Okay. So here, milk, because most of the kids are given milk. And why is milk not good for us and why it is not good, for our body? So there's a lot of demand for milk. So how do they remove the milk? Through machines. So, and they forget to put off the machines. So, there's a lot of blood and pus, and these udders get infected. So there's pus, blood and bacteria in the milk that we are having. And they are giving a lot of antibiotics because they are infected. The cows are given. So there's antibiotics also in that milk. And I remember when I was feeding my child, my Swara, I was not even having vatana or chana. Forget antibiotics, because my mother-in-law used to tell me, if you eat such things, your child will feel gaseous. So these antibiotics are even coming to us. And then we are going to homeopathy medicines because you don't want to take antibiotics. And these cows are given fodder which is not organic, so these pesticides are also coming to us. Urea, because they are transported to one place to another, and they are filled in jars which are coated with urea, so they don't turn bad, the milk doesn't turn bad. And this urea is a chemical and a hormone disruptor. It goes into our milk. There are natural growth hormones in the cow's milk and additional which is injected in the cow so that the cow keeps on milking throughout the year, so that we can have our cheese and paneer and butter every single day. So these growth hormones are also there, and the toxic substances that the cow eats. The cow is eating nowadays anything that you see, from the dirt, plastic, and even sanitary napkins. So do you think we really want to give such milk to our children? Of course not. Yeah, milk is not for our children. It is when they were growing the maximum in the first year, their brain developed the maximum, they doubled in size in the first year. That is when they really needed milk, and we gave it. They had the mother's milk, so they don't need any other milk from outside. Then the teeth and the digestion system was developed, and God told us that now you can have your nutrition directly from the plants. You need not go through any milk. Okay, so now you will think, I cannot give this milk to my child, so how will my child get calcium? Amit talked about more detail about calcium yesterday, right? You can get a lot of calcium from a lot of plant supplements like tofu, almonds, amaranth. If you need more calcium, sesame, it has 1160 mg in every 100 grams. And when our growth was maximum, we only needed 33 mg of calcium. So don't really worry about calcium. If you're eating a balanced diet, nothing wrong is happening with you. So now let's get to the another level. It was milk, which is not good for our body the way God has made up. Now let's see about meat. Do we have these canines like omnivores and carnivores that we can cut through the raw meat and chew it? No, we don't have. Also, we don't have such short intestines so that the meat that we eat goes out of the system immediately. We have really long intestines. Okay. And if we eat meat, it remains in our system for 72 hours and it putrefies, and a lot of poisonous gases are released. So it is not really for a human being. God has not made us in such a way that we can eat meat. Also, if we are eating meat, let us see what is in our meat. It is really high in fats and cholesterol, and there's no fiber in it. Here again, I like to elaborate. Uh, when I was young, there were only a few. I just remember two children in my class who were obese, really obese, and I still know them. I am still in touch with them. And my daughter, when I go to her class, Swara's class, more than half of the child is obese. What is wrong? What is happening to the children now? And obesity really invites a lot of other physical ailments in the later stage of life, like diabetes, heart issues, and blood pressure, and many other issues. And here again, diabetes is not only related to physical issues. It really depletes your social life. You may be bullied, you may be teased, then automatically go into social distancing, and then which may lead to depression, and which is not what we really want our children to go through, right? And also about cholesterol, I'd like to share that cholesterol starts setting in our arteries right from the age of 2. Our arteries start getting clogged from then. When you're 14 or 15 years old, your arteries are already 30 to 40% blocked. It is scary. And that is the reason why people are getting heart attacks before the age of 30. There are so many deaths happening right now before the age of 30. So we really need to understand, why do we need this cholesterol? Cholesterol is made in liver. We also make cholesterol in our liver, but that we make that much that is required for our body. Why do we need to take outside cholesterol? Okay, plant food do not have cholesterol because there's no liver in plants here. So are we clear about fats and cholesterol? We do not need them. We will not go for it. And antibiotics and pesticides are there in the meat because those animals are living in a very bad condition. They are infected, they are given a lot of antibiotics. Here again, there's one study which says 80% of the antibiotics that are produced in the world are given to animals, and in turn they are coming to us. Okay, and these pesticides, they are really not good for us. Some animals feed on other animals, so all the diseases from the other animals also come to us. They are given growth hormones, so they grow really fast. They grow in weight also, so they can make more profits. The adrenaline level is really high because they are killed in front of each other. They really know when they are going to be killed, right? And don't we have enough stress in our lives that we want to invite the outside stress also? And the diseases from these animals also come to us. Do we want to feed such meat to our children? No, no meat, no eggs. So how does my child get protein? There are a lot of plant protein supplements. Amit really spoke in detail yesterday. You can go for these. So milk and meat, these are the two things which are not made for our human body. Now let's move ahead. No fish also. So how do I get my omega-3? You'll get it from walnuts, chia seeds, and flax seeds. Even the fish gets its omega-3 that it is giving to us from the algae in the sea and the plants in the sea. So we need not really go via fish. We can have directly from these things. Now let us talk about pesticides. You know what are pesticides? They're actually hormone disruptors. They directly attack our endocrinal system. And that is why we get the issues like diabetes, thyroid, PCOD, early puberty, many other disruptive disease, ADHD. These are all due to pesticides. Now, the pests and insects are very smart. They don't eat the food which is sprayed with pesticides, but we are not that smart enough. We have that food. And here I'd like to share more. um, Early puberty. I remember my mom and my aunts, they attained puberty at the age of 15 or 16. In my age, I attained at the age of 13. And right now, what I'm seeing is children are attaining puberty between the age of 8 and 10. Isn't it really scary? I'm getting goosebumps. What hormonal changes are happening nowadays? College going girls are having PCOD and doctors are just giving them hormonal medicines. It's really, really scary. There are diabetes children, they're having juvenile diabetes, again, thanks to the pesticides. So we can really work on this, and we can go organic. By going organic just for 1 week, 90% of the pesticide level in your body goes down. And being in the cities, it's really easy to find organic food, especially in Mumbai, I know, right? So again, just do away with your pesticides. It is not for us. These chemicals are not for our body. Now sugar and kids go together very well. The sugar in this food industry know very well that sugar is highly addictive. The more sugar you give to your kids, the more they will ask for. It is really high in calories, and it will make your children obese, and a lot of other diseases will follow. If you see, sugar is hiding in more than 74% of packaged foods, and you'll go crazy when you understand it is hiding in every single thing. Yogurt, energy bars, crackers. You cannot eat just one, right? Why? Because there's sugar in the chips too. Cereals, salad dressings, ketchup. Ketchup also has a lot of sugar. Pasta sauce, you name it, and it has sugar because they want us to have it again and again so that they can increase their profits. And it is really not good for it. You can easily go for natural sweeteners, dates, raisins, figs, and there are many other more. And believe me, whatever you make with these natural sweeteners whatever you make, these Indian sweets are really tasty. You can drool over it. Even the cakes, ice creams, pastries, chocolates, Swara just loves them. She has, stopped liking those sugary sweets. Whenever she goes for a birthday party, I also get carried away by those beautiful cakes, those fondant cakes. They look so beautiful, as if you never want to cut it. So she'll take a big bite in her plate. She'll have one bite and she'll be like, I cannot have it. And she'll get it home. Mama, I could not have this cake. It looks so beautiful, but it is too sweet. Yeah. So once you get to this natural sweetness, your children won't be able to take that outside sugar. Just gradually and slowly shift to natural sweetness. It really works well. Believe me fully in this. Now, oil. Oil is again not for our body. It is just, very, very high in fats and no fiber in it. If you make oil at home, it will just last for about 15 days. When you're getting it from outside, it has an expiry date of how much? 2 years or 3 years. So imagine the amount of preservatives they are putting in. These preservatives are again chemicals which are not good for our body, right? Also, if you taste oil, does it have any taste? No. So where is the taste? It is in spices, herbs, and vegetables. So you can completely skip oil, and you have seen in all these cooking demos, right? We can really make anything and everything without oil and make it as tastier. So why can't we just skip oil? It is not for our body. Eat like a monkey, eat in the whole form. Whenever you're having your fruits and vegetables, just don't peel whatever you think a monkey won't peel, because the nutrition is just below the peel, just below the skin. And when you're having the dry groceries, just think that it should not be really processed. If you're having wheat, no maida, whole wheat flour. If you're having rice, no white rice, red rice, brown rice. Just think that way and you will be easily able to decide what to eat and what not to eat. In short, whatever is grown on a plant, eat it. Whatever is manufactured or made in a factory or a plant, don't eat it. Now here I'd like to share, uh, Swara, she had tasted some Hershey strawberry milk from her friend and she really wanted to have it. And I didn't, this was about 6 months back and I didn't want to tell her no. So I bought it for her, and I was not wearing specs then. So I just told her, you read the ingredients, what is written in that, and then you have it. She was reading it and she's asking, Mama, what is this number? What is this number? And I'm telling her, this is some kind of chemical, maybe so that it lasts longer. And there was some strawberry flavored chemical in it. And then after reading the whole thing, she's telling, Mama, there's no strawberries in it. There's only some strawberry flavored chemical in it. So I was like, yes, I know. There's no actual strawberry in it. It is some chemical which tastes like strawberry. So this was the information given to her. So that day she had that milk and she didn't have it fully. She maybe more than half. She left a little. And after that, she's never asked for it. So, when you give the right information to your child, the right choice is coming from your child. So that is how we need to work on them. We need not force ourselves on them. So here, let's put in a nutshell. Sharon also says we really need to eat as per our footprint, as per our blueprint, and let's revise what we discussed. We eat only plant-based food, no meat, no milk in any form. We go organic, we eat whole foods, we go off packaged foods and off processed foods. Also, we need to check our B12 and vitamin D every 6 months. It is really important, even in kids, because if the count is less, if if the count is not enough, we invite a lot of other diseases. You should get yourself supplemented and your kids supplemented, and how to do it is there in the Try Vegan section in our website. And our website is given in the bottom of every slide. You can go through it. Okay. So now don't be intimidated as if I leave my oil, sugar, milk, meat, what will I eat? No, everything. You can eat everything under the sun. Our Indian food is naturally vegan except for South Indian also, except for curd rice. Italian and Mexican can be made vegan with vegan cheese. You learned vegan cheese, right? In your cooking demos. And Oriental food is naturally vegan. They use tofu, and here in India we use paneer. And also, you can make every single thing under the sun in a different way, in a plant-based way. You need not worry about it. We are there in at every step to help you out. So here, salads are really important for us. As you must have heard in all the talks, Swara never used to like salads. So I'd like to share how she started liking salads once we were making sandwiches. And I was making a sandwich for her and she's like, I don't want to have sandwich. It's so, you have to eat all that crunchy vegetables. So I said, why don't you try for yourself what vegetables you want to put in your sandwich? and she made something like this, not as neat as this, but something really funny. And once she got used to this vegetables and bread and sauces and chutneys, and she started liking a sandwich. She started liking salads. It was a huge thing for me. Wow, my daughter is eating salads now. So just let them explore the food themselves. Let them touch the food. Let them get used to the food. It will be of great help in the long run. They'll start liking the food when they're really young also. If they're making it dirty, let them do it. So let us make food our medicine and also for our children, so that we don't go for any outside medicine, no allopathy, no homeopathy, no Ayurvedic. Only food will be our medicine. Okay, we eat rightly the way God has made our body, and we'll be able to be really healthy. Here I'd like to tell you, the earlier you start, it is better. I started when Swara was 4.5 years old, and before that I used to do everything under the sun to give her that 1 cup of milk, to put it into her stomach. I used to do every single thing. And that night when I decided to go vegan, after that I stopped, you know, asking her for milk, giving her milk. And she started asking for milk, mama dudu, mama dudu, and not just once in a day, 4 times in a day. And that's when I realized how addictive milk is. Oh my god, it was crazy. It was so difficult telling no to her. There was so much friction. I went crazy for so many days. I was like, no, I cannot give milk to you. It's not good for you. And that baby is so confused. My mama was giving me, forcing me milk down my tummy. And now she's not giving me milk. And one day I was out for half a day, maybe for some work. And my mother-in-law gave her milk. I came back home and she's hugging me, giving me a tight hug. And she's telling me, Mama, I had milk today. And I had it 4 times today. And it's like, oh no, what happened now? But what I saw, she connected to me that day after really long. So I realized that at the face of it, I cannot say no to her. There will be a process which she has to go through, and I have to go through to let her go off that milk. So from that day onwards, whenever I am giving her milk, whenever she's asking me, I'm giving her. Okay, I'm not offering her. Whenever she's asking, I'm giving her. I'm making it a point that it is less sweeter, the sugar is less, so she won't like it. Also, I'm sitting with my cup of milk with her, which is, a calcium shot with chocolate in it, cocoa powder in it, which looks really chocolatey and nice, with dates. So I sit with her and we have it together. One day passed, second day she's asking, what is that you're having? It looks really nice and chocolatey. I said, it is my milk without milk. It's really yummy. And she's like, Mama, can I taste it? And I was like, no, this is for adults. Whenever you tell your kids, this is for adults, the antenna go up like this. Mama, please, please, I want to have it. Please, Mama, please, Mama. And when she pleaded, I said, okay, but only 2 sips. And she had more than half of it, on the first day itself. And then I said, you had too much. I should not be giving you so much. And the next day again we sat and she asked for it. And the third day she had the whole of it. And I was like, amazing, mission accomplished. So here, just one thing, don't force your child. Just you do your thing. They'll come up to you, they'll ask you, don't offer them. But don't offer them milk directly. When they ask, don't say no. Make it less tastier and give it to them. Gradually, they'll come to what you want them to come to. So here, what is the most important thing? The decision should come from them. It should not be forced by us. Okay. So I really hope I have made this point clear to you. So let's move ahead. I'd like to share with you what Swara eats in general. So before I start with you, this is not everything that she eats, okay? These are just the options that I put up. Also, she does not have every meal that is given here. I give her only when she asks for food. Only when she's hungry, she'll come to me and ask. So before 2 years back, I had never heard these words from her that, Mama, I'm hungry, because I used to give her food before she is hungry. after I came to know about more about intermittent fasting, what you heard from Madhura also, I stopped offering her food before she asked for it. So, you know, maybe she has only 3 meals a day or 4 meals a day, not all of them. So, you know, don't end up feeding everything that is put up here. Okay. So to start with, she appreciates a fruit and a calcium shot because she is not yet really used to smoothie, but she loves smoothies too. Okay. Then if she's hungry, she goes for breakfast, which is generally idlis. She loves pancakes, malt, and cheese toast. Chilla is again she is okay with, and also millet upma and poha she likes. Okay, and this AM snack and PM snack generally she skips. She never asks for. But we do have a big dabba of sesame peanut laddu on our dining table for 365 days. So whoever is hungry in between in the house just pops it up. So once in a while she does that. Okay. The sesame laddu is just roasted sesame powder, roasted peanut powder, and dates mashed and made into laddus. Nothing more. Then lunch is salad. I'm very happy that she's started having salads, roti, sabji, and dal. And she loves all the sabjis. Even if they are made without oil, she loves them. So it is, you know, don't feel that if you're making without oil, your children won't like it. They'll start tasting the vegetables. So just go for it. And believe me, they won't even come to know. And the evening snacks, yes, she does have sometimes, and it is never hunger based, it is taste based, you know. I do make cakes, ice creams, pastries, cookies, you know, many a time. So it is, you know, wow, mama, ye bana hai. So she'll go for it. So it is generally taste induced, not hunger induced. Dinner is very similar to lunch. Some salad with vegetable and bean, and she loves millet roti, especially bajra and jowar. Also, she loves her biryani and uh, pulao. So rice sometimes we make it a point. She naturally likes to have one grain, which we never try to inculcate, but she naturally likes that. And she also loves pani puri, sev puri, pav bhaji, pizza, and pasta and lasagna. So we do make that, but everything is made in a plant-based way, and it is really working well. And also here I'd like to share that I live in a joint family, so my kitchen is not fully whole food plant-based. I have my in-laws with me who have not yet shifted. So, you know, she does have distractions. Whenever my mother-in-law makes kheer and she nicely palettes it and gives her, she'll really get attracted. So she'll tell me, Mama, I'm going for the kheer. And I'm like, okay, you may. And she has 1 or 2 spoons and she'll say, Mama, this is too sweet for me, and she'll leave it out there. So she's gradually shifting to the whole food plant based on her own, from her own. It is coming from her own decision. So that is what I really want. I don't want it to be imposed on her. Okay, let's move ahead. So this health and hygiene level, we have really gone in detail. Let's look at the other levels, values and culture. So what are values and culture? Culture, you know, there are laws that we are following. They are written rules. Culture are the rules which are not written, and we as a family, as an extended family, as neighbors, as a society are following. That's our culture. Okay. And values are the rules in the culture that we really love and we love to follow, come what may. That are our values. Okay. So now, how do we inculcate these values and culture in them? And I don't want to impose my culture, my values on them. Okay. It's really important. That's what is my mindset. So, how do we inculcate it? By consciously making rules and regulations. And we do it mutually. Generally, we have this whenever there's a friction. And for me, it generally happens with the screen time. Okay. She wants to see more screen and I say no. So whenever there's a friction, I just stay. And now she only sits down. It's been a habit now. We sit down and let's make rules and regulations around this. And she's given the first chance. So how much do you want to see? And she'll come up with 2 hours in a day. And I'll be like, no, 2 hours is too much. Half an hour in a day is good enough. And then we negotiate, we maybe come down to 45 minutes or 1 hour, whatever works with both of us. And then I'll ask her, if you falsify it, then what are the consequences you'd like to go for? And she'll come up with very small. She'll be saying like, I won't have a chocolate or ice cream that day. That's too small. You should have the consequence so that you remember the rule next time. So then she'll come up with, I won't see TV for next 2 days. And I'm like, that's too much. Are you sure you'll be able to follow it? She will be like, yes, I think I'll be able to follow. And then we decide on those rules, and that goes on for quite some time. She does break that rule. She follows the consequence herself without any drama. And then again, there maybe there okay, a day comes where she'll say, I cannot follow the consequences. We need to rework on rules and consequences again. So this goes on, but the drama and friction really reduces. They know that we need to work on these, okay? And they come up with their own values, gradually. So there's no power struggle between you. So bond is not really cut there. So it is always better to start early in life. I do not want to demotivate you. If your children are grown up, you can start right away wherever you are. Just take their consideration, take them also into the consideration, involve them also in making rules and consequences. Now we really need to understand, why does a child misbehave? The child misbehaves because of mainly three reasons: to seek attention when there's too much energy, and to satisfy curiosity. These are the three main reasons. Do we really need to punish them for these three reasons? I don't think so. We can just give them the attention, divert their energy, or just satisfy their curiosity. This is to be done. Yeah. So we really no need to punish them for such things. And also this power, just think about the child's day. If the child is in school for 6 to 8 hours, who is in power then? The teachers. When they are at home, who is in power? We. So they are constantly under someone. Just imagine a day when we have to be under someone, when someone is taking calls for our life. How would we feel? We'll feel so unempowered. We'll be feeling very weak. So that's what happened with the child. We need to really boost their confidence. So what we can do, we can play games with them like Simon Says. When you do that, they really feel whatever Simon says, everyone is doing around. Even my parents are doing. So such games really boost their confidence. Also, wherever practical, please let them take decisions. Like if it is about their room, it is about their drawer, whenever they are in command. Yeah, when they are with their friends and they're playing with their friends, they really don't want to come back home. You know why? Because there they are in command, right? So just give them chances to be in power. It will really help them better. Here I'd like to share, yesterday, only day before yesterday this happened. She has joined some online thing because we are in the lockdown, and they give one task every single day, and she has to follow. So that day, day before yesterday, she received a task of learning a poem and sending a video by reciting. So she did for half an hour or so. She made a video on her own, and she asked me to send it. And I saw the video and I was like, I think you should be perfect enough, Swara, so that, do whatever you do fully, nicely, and then send it. Otherwise, don't do it. And she's like telling me, Mama, I don't want to spend my whole day in learning that stupid poem, which will be of no use to me. Instead, I really, enjoy my day, play games, and do whatever else I want to do. So she was so clear with her values that my happiness, my, you know, she was so clear within. My happiness is more important to me, not what others are thinking about me. How did I recite and all? I was so happy. She was so clear about her values then. So all this comes when you give them that power, when you give them that command in their hands. Okay. So let's now move forward. Learning and autonomy. How do you inculcate learning and autonomy in children? By giving them right choices, So when we give them full freedom to take decisions, mistakes, and risks, we can really help them. The younger they are, they'll have to take smaller decisions, smaller mistakes, and smaller risks. They'll become wiser as the day goes by, and they'll become better in making decisions. So we just need to be facilitators to them. Don't give them answers directly. Ask them questions which will make them think further and come to a decision on their own. We give them age appropriate challenges and responsibilities, and this is the right time, the lockdown time. Every day she's popped up when she gets up, Mama, what are my challenges for today? And thanks to this, in last 12 to 13 days, she's learned using laptop, and she's making PowerPoint presentations. I'm so happy about it. Treat them as adults, respect them as adults. Don't enforce yourself upon them, because where there's enforcement, there is retaliation, the performance is reduced, and the love for learning is killed. And how do we make them have right choices? By letting them explore rightly. What are we doing with the weekends with them? Are we just taking them to a movie, or are we taking them to a trek or hike, or are we taking them to organic gardens? And that all depends. Whatever we make them explore helps them to make right choices. So you make right choices in spending time with them, and they'll make right decisions. Now the last point, the last level, which is excelling. When you're doing all the levels below, the child will automatically excel. I'm sure about it. Yeah. And just again, one reminder, the above, when we are working on above levels, we do not do it at the cost of the levels below, which is very, very important. Now, what do we really need to do to make them excel better? We need to appreciate them genuinely. We need to appreciate them in such a way that they are not appreciated directly as a person, which makes the ego go high, they become proud. No, we need to appreciate them in such a way that we appreciate their choices, efforts, and actions. For example, if Sarah has made a painting, she'll come to me, and then I cannot just say, wow, Swaraj, this is superb. You're an awesome painter. You'll do great in your life. No, this does not help her. What helps her is you just get into the detail. What lovely colors you have used. I love the shape of your mountains. They look so natural. You've gone into real details while making the tree. This is amazing. So that will make the passion grow. Okay. So that's how you really need to appreciate them genuinely. So here we have come to the end of the pyramid. So please work on all the levels, and I really hope this is a lot of value to you. Just remember, we don't work on the above levels at the cost of the levels below. The levels below are of most importance. So you work on yourself first, and then the other things. After this, I'd like to come up with this point of global warming and children. All of us know how much global warming is at a rise, right? So just by not using more water, or just by using less of electricity or less of automobiles, we won't be able to reverse it, right? Reverse it to as fast. So if we want to reverse it really fast for our children, to have them a better world, to have them a beautiful life. When I was young and I used to go to my village every single year in a train, for more than a month, we never used to buy water. That is the only travel I used to do, I remember. We never used to buy bottled water. Fresh water was available everywhere, pure water for drinking. Now we have to buy bottled waters at every single place. The moment we step out, we need to buy. I don't want our next generation to be buying water in capsules, or to be buying oxygen cylinders for fresh air. So just understand, animal agriculture is the main reason of global warming. If we stop there, if we stop there, we can easily reverse global warming by 2026. So just understand this. By going vegan or plant-based for just one day, we are saving 1100 gallons of water, 45 pounds of grains, 30 square feet of forest, 20 pounds equivalent of carbon dioxide, and the life of one animal. Isn't this huge? Isn't this a huge contribution we can do for our children? So if you're able to go fully, that's amazing. But even if you're not able to go just 1-2 days in a week and gradually increase that number of days, we'll be able to give a beautiful gift to our children, which is this world which is full of nature, oxygen, fresh water, beautiful world. Yeah. And it is not only for our children, all the children around us and all the future generations to come. Okay. I really, really invite you for all this, for going plant-based. And we are here at Sharan are there to help you in every single way we can. Thank you so much. And I really feel that, I really hope that this must be of really great help to you. And let's get into the questions.
People
Thank
want
you
to
so
know
much.
what's a calcium shot.
Calcium shot is, as we saw, sesame is very high in calcium. 1 teaspoon of sesame soaked, 3 almonds soaked, and then just remove that water, add fresh water, add some dates, add some cocoa powder, blend it very well and have it. That's your calcium shot. And it just tastes like chocolate milk.
Forum is asking, is legume milks can we have? Legumes milk can we have?
You can have.
Okay. Basically peanut.
Peanut milk, yes.
Dipali is asking, how do you make ragi malt?
Ragi malt is sprouted ragi, which is dried and powdered. We get it from Sharan store or outside also we get it. That powder you can add with coconut milk or almond milk or any milk. Add some date paste or jaggery and just heat it for a while. It will turn thicker like a shira halwa and you can have it. You can add some roasted nuts to it, some elaichi to it.
SB is asking sesame and peanut to be roasted in sesame peanut laddu.
Yes.
Shravani is saying, can we have milk from home milked cow, which is looked after with care and only after letting the calf feed on?
See, even if you're having that milk, naturally there are so many growth hormones in it, which is not for a human body. The human grows to adulthood in 18 years and a calf grows to adulthood in 18 months. So that much is not really required. And there's so much casein in it. It's not really for our body, for the body of a child also.
Shravani is only asking, won't the cow feel heavy with the excess milk she has?
No. Okay, here, just think, when we were feeding our baby, did we get more milk than what the child wanted? How much our child had, that much milk we had. It is similar for the cows also. Whatever the calf will have, that much milk the cow will secrete, not more than that.
Shravani is asking again, what is your stance about vaccines?
Vaccines, I would say whatever is compulsory, you can go for it. Otherwise, you can consult your doctors. I have gone only for whatever is compulsory, not more than that.
Jay is asking, how do you handle birthday parties? There, the food is mostly non-vegan and the kids have to eat to keep up with their friends.
Right. So earlier, yes, I had this issue. Yes, Swara was going, but I never told her, no, don't eat it from there. She used to have it, and the children will realize what happens in their body. When they say, Mama, I am having this stomach ache or some issue, that is the time, you really take care of your child and remind them. Ask them, what did you have last? What did you have last evening? And when they relate that, they'll themselves understand. And initially, yes, she was having food from outside, but now she gets the plate as it is home. Maybe the cake is looking so interesting, so she'll taste it, but not more than that.
Mansi is saying, my son is 5 years old. I'm totally sold on the fact that white sugar maida is not good for him. But he's very fond of sugary stuff. We try getting jaggery based biscuits or cakes, but since he's so used to sugar level of sweetness, he doesn't enjoy the jaggery based one. So how to gradually transition him to healthier levels of sweets and desserts?
So this will be a very gradual thing. Yes, I understand, because sugar is very addictive. It will take some time. Be patient enough. Have more, non-sugary options at home. Only offer him sugary options when he asks for it. Gradually, this will happen. Don't worry. And I have gone through this, and it really works. Believe me.
And even milk, it's not only
And
maida
milk,
and
yes.
sugar.
Yeah, there is milk solids also in all those biscuits. That is also addictive, yes.
Sneha is asking, does not Swara ask for chocolates?
She does. She used to, yes. But now I've seen, like, we can make lovely vegan chocolates, lovely plant-based chocolates, and in the matter of minutes. Whenever she feels that urge to have sweet, I can make those chocolates in 4 minutes for her. Also, right now, what I've seen, earlier I had to tell my guests, please no chocolates. Now, when people offer her chocolates, dairy milk especially, directly to her, she says, no, I don't like it. So gradually all these things happen. The more options you give them in plant based, so they'll turn here gradually. Just have patience and give them more options.
Cherry saying, when I tell my son for plant-based food, he comes to me saying, Mama, even plants are living things. Then how we can eat them? How should I explain this to him?
Yes, plants are living things, and whatever we are eating out of plants are generally the fruits and vegetables. With the plants are growing just for us, for we can, you just twist and they come out. Okay, you don't have to really cut the plant and all. Also, if you see the animal products, the animals, what they are being fed, they are being fed about 4 to 5 times more plants than what we are eating. Okay, so we are destroying more of plants when we are eating the animals. So why just don't eat directly little plant what we need to have?
Right. Nivedita is asking, how do you make ice cream?
Ice cream, there are many ways. You can check on the website. Uh, in fact, you can check, there are more than 580 recipes. You can check most of them out. One recipe I can tell you is, just take frozen bananas, peanut butter, and dates, and just blend it very well and keep it in your freezer.
Yeah, that really turns out yummy. And I add a little
Yum.
salt to it, so it's yum.
Yeah.
Okay, Kashish is asking, how long do you soak the sesame seeds and almonds for calcium shot?
Overnight always works.
Uh, okay. Okay, please. I think you've already repeated. Okay, my grandson, 2.5 years, is hyperactive. How to channelize his energy in this lockdown? Thank you.
Have more physical activities with him. Just, I had received a video on WhatsApp when the lockdown started. It was maybe some Chinese or Japanese video. There were a lot of physical activities, and we did that at home. And Swara was totally charged up. It was like running with some, blocks in between, just jumping around. I was totally drained, and she was super active still then. So,
Okay. SB is asking, from which age should Sharan diet be started in children?
right from where right from where you conceive, maybe, or right now, even before conception you can start.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
How much shots for a 2-year-old?
Short
Calcium shots.
calcium
Calcium shots.
shots, the least you can have is once in a week, or you can have every single day also.
Monica is asking how you make pani puri and save puri without oil.
Okay, so the pani puri is available outside, oil free pani puri. It does have a little maida, but once in a while, once in 2 months or so, I do go for it. And save puri and save everything can be made without oil. There are recipes on the website, and we do also conduct cooking classes, oil-free cooking classes. You can look out for them.
Shilpi is asking how to cook oil-free stuffed paratha.
You just put some butters in the atta itself, maybe coconut butter or peanut butter, and you can easily cook it. No need to just add oil, nothing more.
Sunita is asking what supplementation for B12 and vitamin D.
If your child is deficient, then how to supplement is given in the website in the try vegan section. So based on your count, it is given what supplement you should be going for and how much.
Most of them are asking for a repetition of calcium shot. So can you quickly repeat
Yes,
it?
yes. 1 teaspoon of sesame soaked, 3 almonds soaked, just in the morning, soaked overnight. Morning, remove that water, add 1 cup of fresh water, a little 1 teaspoon of cocoa powder, and 4 to 5 dates, because the children want it sweeter. You can add vanilla extract if required. Just blend it very well and have it.
Last 2, 3 questions I'll take now. Nitya, how to handle the situation? Nitya is asking how to handle the situation where you're ready to go vegan, but not all at home, and we still have to prepare non-vegan food for others at home.
See, frankly, it is not really difficult. You can plan your week in the weekend, make all your butters, make your cheese for the week, make your bread for the week, prepare your tadka for the whole week, and you're ready to go. In fact, you will be more faster.
Absolutely. Gurkriti is asking, my husband tells me we need oil in our diet, especially when his knees creak when doing workouts. What should I tell him?
Okay, I never understand of this, joints and oil thing, but still, if you need oil, you can have it in the natural form, in the form of butters where there's fiber along with it. This fiber really helps in cleaning the system also, and the fat not adding on to your system. Okay, so go with the butters instead of oils.
Basically, Gurkriti, we are having oil. So when you have coconut, you have mustard seeds, you're having the oil in the whole form rather than processing it and having it. So it's not that we are not having the oil, but we are having the oil with the fiber, as Komal said. Okay, Komal, last question,
Yes.
if you can answer, since it's a parenting thing, just give everybody the chocolate recipe, which you make in 4 minutes, please.
Yeah. So that is nuts. You can take any nuts, 1 cup of nuts, which are roasted. Roasted taste better. I have generally take almonds and walnuts. So just make a powder out of it. Add some dates, some vanilla extract, mash it up, and roll into balls. As simple as that.
Yeah, we made those just yesterday and they were yum.
They are super yum. And believe me, you cannot overeat also. You
Yeah.
can have just 1 or 2 and you're done. You're satiated.